Hello and welcome to the Hayworth Property Update. This is Blake Wettengell, CEO of Versity Invest. According to census data released by the Greater Houston Partnership, the Houston region saw the second largest population growth among major metros in the U.S. between the summers of 2021 and 2022. With over 200 people moving to Houston each day, the Hayworth offers an elevated home to those seeking a luxurious living experience. The attention to detail offered by the on-site team has the property leased to over 97%. Management has increased amenity fees and plans to cut spending in contracted services. The property has had no major repairs, and there are none in its immediate future. According to recent data from industry sources Stanger & Co. and Mountaindale Consulting, $2.1 billion have been raised so far in DST programs through the month of May of 2023. And should this pace continue, the industry will raise approximately $5 billion for the calendar year. Now, by comparison, in 2021, the industry raised $7.2 billion, or 30% more than this year. And in 2022, raised $9.2 billion, or 45% more than the current year. So we see a real slowing in capital formation as DSTs are sitting on the shelf for a significantly longer period of time. And as they do so, as these DSTs sit on the shelf, they accumulate a lot of cost from interest on preferred and bridge equity that the sponsor has to bear. Now, we at Versity, we see this as an opportunity. We can provide a win-win solution in what has become a difficult economic environment. So as opposed to continuing on as business as usual, the sponsor here is going to provide a yield enhancement feature to our existing DST programs. Specifically, Versity will be increasing the stated rent for investors in the Hayworth Tanglewood DST from 4% annually to 6.5% annually for a period of 24 months. We see this as a win-win. Investors are going to be rewarded with a higher cash-on-cash return, while the sponsor will be able to negate some of its cost from preferred equity providers by paying investors fees as opposed to banks and preferred equity providers, at least until the market normalizes. How are we paying for this? Versity Invest, LLC, as the sponsor of Hayworth Tanglewood DST, is an affiliated entity of the master tenant, Hayworth Tanglewood Lease Co., LLC. Now, the master tenant generates sufficient revenue from the operation of the property to pay the base rent, including debt service, and the entirety of the previous stated rent of 4%. Now, the difference between the yield enhancement of 6.5% and the DST's original stated rent plus bonus rent of 4.13% will be borne entirely by the sponsor. Any outperformance of the property by the master tenant will offset the impact of this yield enhancement. The sponsor's ability to sustain this payment for the next 24 months will be supported by cash on hand, any of our future revenue-generating activities, and other product offerings. The yield enhancement feature will be carried on for a duration of 24 months beginning immediately.